Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Grand Tactician: The Civil War. We are still the Confederacy as we continue to try to break away from the United States, and the Trent Affair has just taken place. Shots fired at a British ship. Oh, the British are not going to be too happy about this one. So that's another step closer to British intervention. And if we look, British intervention is at 0% because of the legal blockade, but that's okay. I don't think I've ever had a single game where the British were close to intervening just because the Union really doubles down on having the British not come into the war. Now, off camera, I have went ahead and started to recruit some other units and more artillery and things like that. So I put another artillery unit in the Army of the Potomac. Started to make a cavalry division with Jeb Stuart in charge in the Army of the Shenandoah. Army of the West is continuing to grow. The Missouri State Guard units are starting to finally swell in rank. The West Virginia Occupation Force is coming along quite nicely as well. I put a extra division commanded by Holmes in here. We have Julius Daniels, North Carolinians. Then we have Raines' North Carolinians, and we also have Richard Ewell commanding a brigade of West Virginians. Army of Florida is coming along as well. We are going to start sieging Fort Pickens here once these brigades and artillery battalions get into the army here. So in about, 6 days it was? Yeah. So 6 days Anderson battalions to get there. So about 6 days from now we can start sieging the Fort Pickens. And then I put an extra division in the Army of the Tennessee so we can hopefully start moving into Kentucky and take Kentucky. Alright, so we will continue to move along here. It is November 21st, 1861, and all is quiet along all of the fronts. Nobody's really moving. It is winter time. Army of the Indiana is still up in Michigan for whatever reason. Their Army of the Tennessee is gathering strength. And the only Union force I am able to see over here in the east is this West Militia unit. And it only has 1,000 men in it. I have no idea if their armies are kind of behind Washington, which would give us an excellent opportunity to take Washington right now. But we're going to wait on that. Oh, the Trent Affair is resolved. Lincoln backs down. Alright. So no help coming from Great Britain in the coming months, I guess I should say. So we're going to speed this up to 50 because there's not a whole lot going on. And for the West Virginia force, I'd like to come up here, take Wheeling, West Virginia, and then move into Pittsburgh. I think that would be an interesting change of course here, but I know if I do that, they're going to start to bring forces down on this West Virginia occupation force. But anyways, the Confederacy has extended its contracts to 3 years, so we now have 3-year troops. New brigades and regiments are being formed for that. We can go ahead and choose another policy here. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose military policy number 2, because it'll allow us to start creating corps and armies. And we're going to leave it on 50 for quite a while, probably during the winter, just so we can get out of this winter hole, because it doesn't seem like the Union is moving at all. Well, looks like their army of Southwest Missouri is starting to move. Ooh, and their army of the West is now moving as well. Okay. Are they starting to move a little bit? So what we're going to do is we're going to, I think we should add a couple more units here to the west. Just because they are starting to really bring in some more units out here. So what we're going to do is we're going to find Mississippi. We're going to throw in a Mississippi brigade. And the Mississippi brigade is not going to be commanded by Hardy here. It's going to be commanded by somebody from Mississippi. And it is going to be commanded by Griffith. So Griffith's brigade, we'll leave them with mixed muskets. I know we have some Enfields available, but I'm not going to give the guys out in the west any of these things because it took the Confederacy in real life quite a while to get these weapons spread out everywhere, get the modern technology spread out to different places. And the Western Army is actually has a perk here. What kind of perk should we give it? Well, I like either the flying column here, or of course the ambulance corps, which speed reduction due to wounded minus 25 and mortality rate of the wounded minus 10%. So I think we're gonna do the medical one. We're also going to give them another cavalry regiment as well, another cavalry brigade. Can we get another Missouri brigade? Yes, we can. We'll get a Missouri brigade. Got another Missouri brigade here. And it's not going to be commanded by Sibley. It's going to be commanded by somebody from Missouri, like Mr. Marmaduke here. And we're also going to change their weapons to we'll give them the Maynard carbine. 19 days and 17 days. I don't know if that's going to be enough time to see what happens here. It doesn't even look like the Army of the West is moving our way. It looks like they're moving north. Maybe to meet up with the Army of the Southwest Missouri. But we're going to slow down time here real quick. Oh, the Medal of Honor is now available. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the Army of Florida here, and we are going to come over here and attack Fort Pickens. And as soon as we attack Fort Pickens, then Bragg can move up into Tennessee and we can start invading Kentucky, hopefully. Still no forces over here in the east. It is now December of 1861. Weirdly quiet. I'm surprised it's been this quiet from the AI. Maybe it's just the different difficulty setting that I switched it up on. I don't know, because usually I play on very hard, but they attack you constantly on very hard. And we are starting to siege Fort Pickens now. And if we click on the unit here, we can watch the siege in real time. This is something new that they just came out in the latest update. This could be a long siege right here. So far, just 1 casualty on each side. 3 casualties for us now. Oh, -2 for some reason, and maybe they weren't quite dead. That was kind of funny. This game is still very much a work in progress, even though it came out for full release on Steam. But it has a lot of long way to go. But it has a lot of things that I can't wait for. Better AI is one of them. Army of the West is continuing to move west as the Army of the Southwest, Missouri, just kind of stays in place here. Army of Indiana still in Michigan. They must be afraid of Britain coming over. And we have British intervention at 11% right now because of the Tariff Act. We are still besieging Fort Pickens. We're at 55% chance of victory right now. The one thing I wanted to do was check on... I did make a squadron as well. And I started to put ships in his squadron, but I can't seem to put any more brigs in his squadron for whatever reason. It's commanded by Ralph Siemens, but I can't seem to put any more brigs or anything like that over here. Oh, there it is. There it is. So the naval aspect of the game is still a little, I don't know, I would consider it buggy still, just because I can't seem to add anything to it a lot of times. Looks like I have to click back and forth for some reason, which is a weird bug, to put these brigs under his command. So this is this is a super weird bug that I have to click on the different command in the ship. But that's okay. We're going to hopefully get enough ships here for Ralph Siemens that he can start going around and engaging the blockade squadrons that are around our different cities. So we're not going to move until we have these sloops here into his army, or into his commanding force. But we'll get the brigs in there for now, because this one right here, it's got 8 ships, but it also has 175 guns. Siemens has 8 ships and 69 guns. Nice, by the way. Yeah, so we got a long way to go to get those guns up there. Oh, and the Army of Southwest Missouri is moving down slowly, very, very slowly. I kind of want to go out and meet them. Yeah, we're not going to let them get to Fayetteville here. So we're going to move up into Fayetteville, because I do not want them anywhere near Fayetteville. And we're still besieging Fort Pickens here. We are up to, we are still at 55% victory. We have a coal mining accident in England. Pump engine beam fractured. Trapped men are dead. Oh, 2 shafts are required. What a catastrophe. And there is military policy number 2. So now we can create armies and corps instead of just armies. But I don't know if this is a bug or not. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to get industrialization 3. And I don't know if this is a bug or not, but it's been like this for quite a long time. In order for these armies to get cores, I actually have to create a new army, and then these actually can become their cores. So that's very interesting, I guess I should say. And we haven't had any real action here in the East. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create a brand new army. It's going to be located in Virginia, of course. Maybe, if I can find Virginia. There it is. And we're putting Robert E. Lee in charge of this army. Just because we haven't had any real victories, I guess I should say. We've had 3 battles, something like that, before winter hit. And what we're going to do is we're going to transfer the current Army of the Potomac. What is happening here? Why did this pop up? Not sure why it popped up, but they're still besieging. Okay, I'm not sure why that popped up. Oh, because I went to the Army of Florida, I guess. We'll give them a perk, by the way. We'll give them the siege perk. Might as well, right? Since where is the siege perk? Mechanical engineers, miners and sappers. There's a siege perk somewhere. Siege train. There we go. Helps with sieging, obviously. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the Army of the Shenandoah as a core and the Army of the Potomac as a core. And then to get to them again, we have to scroll that way. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what we have, so Pegram's force here is mostly just a scouting force. And they have 3 years left on their contracts, a lot of them do, so we're going to see a loss in men here real soon, unfortunately. So this is going to be known as Johnston's Corps. And this one will be Beauregard's Corps. So now we have plenty of corps here. We have 2 corps here, ready to reinforce one another, if needed. The Army of Southwest Missouri is just kind of sitting put here in Springfield, Missouri. We'll leave the Western Army there for now. Glory, hallelujah! Battle Hymn of the Republic. It is February 1st, 1862, so it is a brand new year. And we are, the Union has passed the Confiscation Act. The bar here, we are evenly matched on both sides. So there is, I'm sure that they still outnumber us in men. Yes, they do. They have 159,000, and we only have 110,000 men. So nothing really extraordinary here quite yet for our forces. Hopefully that changes real soon. National support, however, has dropped quite significantly. And what was that? What just popped up? Wow, look at that. I think this is something new. That hasn't popped up for me before. But national support for the Union has dropped dramatically. But national support and morale of the armies is still kind of up there. But their national support has dropped quite a bit. Fort Pickens is still under siege. Probably not a smart idea by me to start besieging it in the enter. Still besieging it. Still at siege train 1, siege firepower plus 25%, leveling up by by starting sieges. And so we're gonna continue to go times 50 here. And what I'm gonna do, once it turns into spring, I'm going to move the West Virginia occupation force up into Wheeling, and then I'm also going to start to move the Army of the Tennessee up into Kentucky here. Maybe we can get a response out of him doing that. Him being the AI. And the Battle of Fort Pickens has ended with the Union units retreating in panic. So we have taken Fort Pickens. Brown has surrendered successfully. So that means that Confederate armies are unstoppable. More Union prisoners taken. So what that means for Bragg here is we can move Bragg up into position over here next to Albert Sidney Johnson. And Albert Sidney Johnson is going to be the army commander for the middle of the states here. Army of the Southwest is reported to have withdrawn in the face of our forces, so the Army of the Southwest decided to come down, but they also decided to retreat, which is very interesting because they do outnumber us. And there is industrial policy number 3. And right now, we don't really have any other policies we can do. I guess we could probably do the Slavery Restriction Act. Move down to industrialization number 5. That probably, or number 4, wouldn't be a bad thing, and then we could probably even emancipate the slaves. Number of available drafts plus 25, Europe relations plus 25. There, it's at 12 right now. Plus 1% for Confederate subsidies. I don't know if that's for the diplomacy part, but we are going to get another policy. Got trade warfare going, we got industrialization going, we got a little bit of agriculture going, which is fine. And what we're going to do is we are going to, we can't quite do the Slavery Restriction Act because Chapter 3 hasn't opened up yet. Still all quiet, so it is now March. What we're going to do, we're going to slow down here real quick. The Fugitive Slave Act has been renewed. Army officers not to return slaves. So what we're going to do is we need a corps commander here for Johnston's corps. And who may that be? I'd rather it not be anybody from there. I'd rather it be somebody that we've seen in combat. But the only combat that we've seen is over here in the east. And it's mostly been from Johnston over here. And the only division commanders that Johnston has is Jackson, B, and yeah, that's it. That's all the commanders that he's got. I think we'll take Thomas Jackson and we'll make him a corps commander out west. And therefore, we will promote. We'll promote. We'll promote Thomas Green from the Texas Brigade to be the new division commander. So what we will do is we will take Thomas Green here. We're going to switch out him for somebody else. We'll put Major Walker in charge, promoting him to Colonel. And the next thing we will do is we will take Jackson. Jackson, please. Thank you. We'll take Jackson and we will promote him. Gotta find Colonel Green. Oh, Colonel Green. So this is one of probably the, this is the best. I love doing this stuff here. I love promoting generals and all that good stuff during this game. This is, it just builds into the role playing for me. We'll take Johnson. And we'll promote Jackson. And we'll recruit a new army. We'll do it in Tennessee, and it certainly will not be Samuel Cooper in charge of that. I can tell you that much. We'll put Johnson in charge of that. So there is that. Then we have to transfer. Army of the Tennessee, Jackson's Corps. And we also have to transfer the Army of Florida into it. So there we go. There's that. Okay. So we're going to change the Army of the Tennessee into Jackson's Corps. And the Army of Florida will then, therefore, be Bragg's Corps. And we have to move Johnston closer to Jackson's Corps, just to be nice. So it is now March 18th. I think once it turns to be April, I think we should move our West Virginia force up into Wheeling. And I'm pretty sure that will get a good response out of him, and he will start to come down on us. So I would assume. But you know, I have been wrong before. Maybe the AI on hard is just not willing to fight. Everybody's still moving. Yep, everybody's still moving. Good. Alright, it's almost April. Basically, once all of the snow disappears, I don't want to be moving my troops with the snow on the ground. They'll get the slow bonus. And I'd rather not do that. Yeah, I don't know where other troops are at. All their troops have really just disappeared. That's the weirdest thing. And their national morale is down to 68. Now their morale of armies is at 76, so I mean they are definitely, yeah, it's not spelling good for the Union here. This series might actually end quicker than I thought it was going to, but we'll find out. We'll just have to come back and we'll play as the, we'll come back and play as the Union in the next series. How about that? On very hard, so give the Confederates a little bit of a bonus. However, it's super easy for the Union because they have they have so many advanced technology that it's just not even funny. So let's check out our weapons stash here. I don't think we have the Grafton Militia here. Our Sharps rifle. I don't know what happened to all the Springfield rifles that we used to get, so maybe that is continuing to be bugged. But now we have 19 Enfield rifles. That is a lot. So it looks like we are really getting that boost from England. Because Enfield rifles cannot be produced in the United States. They can only be shipped from England. So it's April 3rd. There's still snow on the ground in spots, but the winter cabins have disappeared, so there are no longer any winter things going on. And what we're going to do is we're going to march right up here to Wheeling. We're going to take Wheeling. So we'll have McGruer march up towards Wheeling. See if that gets a response out of Mr. AI here, Mr. Lincoln. I would so imagine that it would. Oh, and I forgot to move General Lee over with his army as well, so you better do that. So our force has landed in Wheeling. And what we're going to do now is we're going to also start to take Louisville. And we'll take Bragg's Corps, and we'll move Bragg's Corps up here too. Why not? And he's got another perk available, Ambulance Corps, of course. So we're definitely probably going to get a response out of him now for moving our troops the way we're moving them. So there's the West Virginia militia. They have moved out of the east. They have moved into Ohio. And there's the Department of Pennsylvania starting to move towards Wheeling here. And we have taken Wheeling. So what we're going to do with Johnston's Corps here, we're going to move it over here to the Cumberland, Maryland. Hopefully cut off the Department of Pennsylvania. And what we're going to do with Beauregard is we're going to move him into Harper's Ferry, and we'll hopefully come at Washington from the north, just like the Gettysburg campaign. And we'll move the Western Army out too. We'll move the Western Army up into Springfield. And there doesn't seem to be any Union forces here in Kentucky. At least none that seem to want to stop us. Go back to times 20 here. And there we go. We are now taking Louisville. And what we'll do with Bragg, and Kentucky now secedes from the Union. We'll take Bragg over here, and we will start to take Covington, Kentucky. All the notifications telling me that all of our armies are at its destinations. Okay, the Union now has policy 2 as well. And the bar is starting to shift towards our side and the advantage mark. The national morale is down to 55. Wow, that is quite a bit. And we have not seen a response from him yet. So we will keep pushing our men until we get a response from him. We are almost out of supplies here with McGruger. That's not great. So what we're going to do is we're going to start constructing a depot here. Maybe. Somewhere. There we go. We'll construct it right there for now. So the Department of Pennsylvania is falling back because we have moved Johnston out into the Cumberland. And he is low on supplies as well. So we're actually going to move him back into Virginia here. And everybody is low on supplies, even though there's a supply depot right here. Interesting. But we finally have a battle here with, I don't even know, it's an unknown unit. I don't even know, it says it's the Army of the West is in contact with your Western Army. So it must be his Army of the West, I'm supposing, but I don't even see anything on the map here. There's no other thing here, okay? So he has 28,000 men versus our 16,000 men. So this is going to be a rough fight. But that will be for the next episode there, everybody. Thank you for joining in and watching us take Kentucky. Please like, subscribe, share this video with your friends if you enjoyed it. And I will catch you on the next one. All right, everybody. Stay safe out there.